How do you do the, 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 how do you do the. I'm going to a bench right now to sit on it because I don't enjoy recording on my bike. How do you do the, 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 how do you do the. Yeah, I'm gonna end this bit. I'll be back in a minute. How do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you do the, how do you do, how do you do the, how do you do the, how do you do, how do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you do the, 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 how do you do how do you do the, 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 how do how do how do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do the, how do you do the, how do you do the, how do you who what do the, how do you 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 do the, how do how do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you, I can't say this properly. How do you do the, 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 how do you do, there's people over there. How do you do the, 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 how do you, there's a bee. How do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you do the, how do you do the, how do you do the, how do you do, how do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you do, how do you do the, have I said that 300 times yet? How do you do the, how do you do the, how do you do, how do you do the, 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 yeah. How do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do, that's a dog in a river. How do you do the, 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 how much battery have I got? How do you do the, 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 how do you do, how do you do the, 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 this has been 4 minutes of me saying how do you do the, is that enough yet? I don't know if I've said it 400 times, I haven't been counting, that's probably not helpful. Well, I got recommended this technically, I kind of thought of it, and I got a comment saying, how do you do the, by, I don't know what his channel name is now, but it was Derpinator. If possible, the comment or thing on Instagram that I found is up there, so, yeah. How do you do the, 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 how do you do the. By the way, this is a 300 subscriber special. I don't know if I've said that yet, the video, because I don't know if I added a clip yet, because I haven't done that yet, but yeah. How do you do the? 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 How do you people? People are gone. How do you do the? How do you do the? How do you do? No, they're not. Okay. Anyway, how do you do the? How do you do the? How do you do the? Say, go away. How do you do the? 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 How do you do? How do you do the? How do you do the? How do you do? How do you do the? I'm sitting on the floor by the way. This is really uncomfortable. How do you do the? 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 How do you do? How do you do the? 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 How do you do? How do you do the? How do you do the? How do you do the? How do you? How do you do? How do you do the? 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 How do you do? How do you do the? 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 Damn it! How do you do? How do you do the? 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 How do you? Oh, it's. How do you do the? How do you do the? Is this 300 times yet? I'm kind of just saying it like 1,000 times. Or would that be clickbait? Guys, it's gonna be called 1,000 times because I think it's been more than 300 now. I think, has it? I don't know. I'm gonna keep on going and just call it 500. How do you do the? 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 How do you do? How do you do the? How do you do the? How do you do? How do you do the? 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 How do you how do you do the? 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 How do you do? How do how do you do the? How do you do the? How do how do how do you do do? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? How do how do you do? 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 Not how do do. How do you do the? 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 This is basically me killing time because I'm waiting for a Ryzen 7 in my computer. So, damn it, there's people. How do you do the? 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 How do you do? How do you do the? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do the? 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 How do you do? 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 How do you do the? How do you do the? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do the? 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 Is that 300 times? Guys, comment down below if you're actually like willing to count how many times that is. I'm guessing it's around 300 somewhere. I don't know. But if you enjoyed it, leave a like because this took me. I actually cut some bits out. Well, I was saying it, but there's those birds in the background. So I'm gonna cut those bits out. And there's also people in the background. And there was a dog that ran behind me as well. I might leave that bit in. I don't know. So yeah, right, I've been recording for an hour and a half, but most bits are going to be cut out, so, because there's just a load of random noises, or dogs, or people, or birds, or planes, or helicopter. I saw a helicopter go above me, so, yeah, sorry about that. It would be a lot longer, but I can't really be bothered to sit here any longer. No, I've been recording for an hour and a half. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half because I've been pretty weird. Sitting here for like half an hour. But yeah, so I was sitting on that bench over there. Can I swap the camera? I was sitting on that bench over there, but loads of people kept on staring at me, looking at the camera, like of me going, "How do you do?" So I kind of stopped. Sitting over there is my bike. So yeah, I'm not recording with this camera back because I can't be bothered to stop it, switch it around and then look back at that. So guys, if you liked this video and you want to see more, this is a 300 subscriber special. I'm going to do it for 500 as well if I ever get there. It's taken me 2 years to get 300, so I mean... What is that? I found a yellow leaf. Oh no. Also, guys, you're going to see better content soon because I'm going to edit videos on my computer when I get a Ryzen 7. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be lit. So, yeah, oh god, there's more people.